When we get to the second interview that I held with Dr. McGill, it is after a rehearsal that is during the week of a performance that took place in October. And I recorded this rehearsal and analyzed what Dr. McGill said versus what happened with the ensemble's sound, and you can find that recording on the website. Um, One of the biggest issues that Dr. McGill feels is a barrier that prevents the authentic dialogue between a conductor and the singers is the difference in experience. And that is a valid point, a very valid point, even when you're discussing education. The difference between experience in a teacher and a student is one of the difficult barriers to overcome because of many factors. And what we can do, and what Dr. McGill believes should be done, and what I agree with him is saying, is that when we ask questions of our ensemble, and when we bring our opinion to the table, and when we ask them to reflect upon our opinion, is we allow them to express themselves in a naturalist form possible, and allow them to be completely honest with their agreement and disagreement of the view. And with that, we take it to heart, and we should entertain those views and try to apply what the ensemble member has to offer in the rehearsal. And with that also, we should realize that conducting an ensemble is not like playing a piano or playing an instrument. Conductors are not manipulating sound, they're helping to create it and helping music to be uncovered and discovered. And with that, Dr. McGill believes that it is his job to help music to be created instead of to create it himself, because he is not singing. And when we allow the ensemble to feel that the conductor is simply there to help remind them of what the specific direction in which they need to be going during a certain piece is, they can do that more freely and also perform in a way that is not just simply scripted and is always being done in a fashion that is a reflection of what they should be doing versus a reflection of the conductor said to do this and now I'm doing it. But, oh, this is what this means. This is how we chose to portray it together as an ensemble. And the purpose should be to facilitate and empower the growth and artistry of the individual singers. That is a direct quote from Dr. McGill of what he believes musicking should be about, and what he believes his role is as a conductor. And as a transformational leader, that is a great testament of being able to empower your students and your musicians to take control of their education, which is something that education and educators should always be striving to do. We should always be striving to get our ensembles and our students to take control of what they're learning and how they're taught and how they learn, so that when it is required for them to recall these facts, they have great memories that are attached to them that help them when aiding them in recalling detailed facts about an issue, facts about a piece of music, so that they can better perform other pieces of music. It is a conductor's job to provide tools and to help students to learn how to master the use of those tools. Instead of simply trying to get a choir and ensemble to correct a rhythm or correct a piece by demonstrating it, Dr. McGill likes to try to give the ensemble tools to figure out what needs to be done in the rehearsal to fix tuning, to fix, to locating correct pitches, to understand the theory behind what the note is that they are singing. Instead of simply just asking the ensemble to sing a brighter vowel or sing more staccato, more piano, Dr. McGill would ask a question like, can you please make me believe that you are understanding of what this text is. Try to envision the magnitude of what you're saying to another person when you say the word Gloria in Excelsis. And with that, instead of trying to always be nitpicking what the ensemble is doing, Dr. McGill likes to take a step back and allow the ensemble to work again and just do another section of the piece, or ask an open-ended question that plays a part in getting the ensemble to think about what they just did, reflect upon it, and make it better. And also, instead of being more concerned with the micro-managing of the music, he is very concerned with the large-scale picture. Instead of always trying to figure out what is my note here, what is the rhythm here, how do I fit in with this, be more concerned with what do I believe about this piece of music? What do I want to do with this piece of music? What do we want to do with this piece of music? And that moves us, the ensemble, from a passive to a more active state during performance and during rehearsal. These are a couple questions that Dr. McGill expects of the ensemble to be always thinking about when they're performing, and always expects us to be able to answer at any given moment. And with that, it allows the music making and performing to be more in the moment and makes music making collaborative. Instead of being in tune with simply the notes and the rhythms and the words on the page, we are more concerned with creating an atmosphere together. And with that perspective on music making, this transformational perspective, the musicking becomes not solely about trying to perfect a piece, but trying to portray an emotion, portray an idea, and to give a full experience to an audience member, rather than giving the audience member an opportunity to listen to a piece of music performed perfectly. And when you get the choir to be more concerned with the intent of a piece of music, you relieve the pressure of trying to find the right notes all the time. And at that point, when you do get to a harder passage, the choir will be more relaxed when they're performing. The choir will be less concerned about, oh, this section of music needs to be performed perfectly right now because it's very difficult. But instead of that, be more concerned with, this idea needs to be portrayed here. We can do that by doing this together instead. And with that, then the big picture becomes informed by the small picture. All of that rigorous work you do in rehearsal then comes into a large picture form when you are performing. But beyond that, when you try to always worry about the big picture, when you're even rehearsing small points of during the music, you will be able to relieve pressure of trying to perfect something, instead of trying to perfect music specifically. Always just trying to be yourself and release the emotion within you that is trying to be portrayed in a section. Dr. McGill had a quote by Beethoven that he really agrees with, that he believes informs his conducting and informs teaching and education. And this quote has to do with Beethoven's sketchbooks. And it says that someone asked Beethoven, oh, why do you sketch music so much? And he says, is it because you want to have all the pieces and then just put them together? And Beethoven goes, no. What I believe the act of composition is like walking in the dark, and a flash of lightning comes and you see the entire landscape. But then in that instant, it's also gone. So you've already seen the entire big picture, but now it is my job to recreate every small piece and detail. And that's what composition is about. And at the same time, that is also what performing music should be about. It should be that we, the ensemble, have this huge idea, and we get this large idea of what this piece of music is about through the text, through the articulation, through the dynamics, and it is our job to string together each section of the music and be more concerned with the large idea instead of just the small idea. And when we set a model of what is the purpose and not what's the right note, what we do is we give the audience a chance to hear a exact expression of the art, and not exact moments of articulation, not exact moments of perfect chords. And then at that point, when we get to an understanding of the entire piece and getting through a way of performing it, that's when all of our decisions make sense. That's when the staccatos become, oh, that's why that is staccato. That's when it goes, oh, we crescendoed here. That's why we crescendoed here. Because every instance of the music is attached to an emotion, which is then portrayed by the ensemble and the conductor, instead of being concerned with simple aspects of the music. And having this style of a rehearsal removes the conductor from the music needing to be perfect. Dr. McGill said that when he's allowed to simply just be a conductor, and not be a conductor, but be involved in creating the sound and uncovering it and not manipulating it, he gets an opportunity to help the ensemble move forward and simply be a part of the ensemble and not the leader in the front. He helps to create what is going on and helps to bring it all together, but is not solely in charge of that. But then the purpose of the conductor becomes to help the musicians discover something more fully than they would have without the conductor. Which brings me back to my Vygotsky quote about the zone of proximal development. The conductor of an ensemble is needed, but also at the same time, after a certain point, with an ensemble such as with any ensemble, could possibly be done away with, because of the fact that once the musicians get to a certain point, the music making ability becomes very easy without having the conductor in front of them. You can always start a piece and walk away, and an ensemble might continue to perform very perfectly, but beyond that, they might not have the same intention if the conductor was there without them. And with that all in mind, we as conductors, Dr. McGill believes, need to be a facilitator of music and not a conductor simply, and a manipulator. We should be trying to help the ensemble figure out what it is we need to do to portray a certain idea. And at that point, it helps, Dr. McGill said, he realizes that he doesn't need to be perfect, but what he needs to do is be honest. And what I like to reiterate, though, is that during these interviews and this video, is that these ideas are mainly ideas of Dr. McGill that I've taken and synthesized, and me speaking right now is a conglomerate of both his ideas and my ideas together, and that the overall objective of these interviews and this project is to be able to find a new way for conductors to lead their ensembles, but also get the ensembles to be leaders themselves.